Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, break of the seven seals. Brothers and sisters, we're talking about fear. Let's look at this fear from another angle. Now, if you agree, well, it's not a matter of agreement with it. If you disagree, that's your failure. That fear is a result of control. Losing control results in fear. Okay? Paradise, you have total control. Everything is like you want it. But if you start losing control, fear comes in, right? Because you know, and more control, less control you have, the more fear you have. Now, for hundreds of years, the devils have total control over us. See, so they were in their paradise. See, and they used fear to do that, and they had total fear in us. I mean, total fear. There was no exception. There was total fear. They tried to make it think like Jefferson had a romance with Sally, whatever her name was. Wasn't no total fear. She disobeyed him in any kind of way, anything, any kind of way. Get over here in the bed, yo. Anything, and she would have been totally, right? Total fear. Can you imagine that? No, you cannot, because you're out of. Well, some of you still in fear, but not to the fear that we were. And some of you trying to avoid that fear, so you don't, because you heard about it. Oh man, you better not mess with these cops, man. You better do this. You better not mess with Master, man, because he put you in prison. He'll do this. He'll execute. You know. Because first of all, they have no authority over us at this point. He putting us in jail, put us in court, try us. See, my wife said, "Well, you sure you're not worried a lot later?" Yes, I am, because because how is she going to define this stuff? They said, I guess I'm gonna have to do this two parts, because I get in. You know, it's just when you get into it, there's just so much to it. They're gonna tell you this guy deserved the death penalty. Okay, say for instance, you were a thief, and you was on trial. Would you want to be the judge? Know that the judge is a thief and people on the jury is a thief? Yet they trying you for being a thief? And they're gonna be sympathetic to you, yeah, because they say he's a thief, we're a thief, man. Let's get a guy a break. Then you probably wouldn't be on trial. But if they're going out there to condemn you and going to sentence you, and you know they thieves. And America said, "Oh man, that guy is guilty to all these things, man. He did." And what the fuck y'all been doing for 400 years? It's off the plate. What y'all been doing? And now y'all got the right to judge in my house? Because the point is, there's a thing called statute of limitations. This is American law. That means if they caught Hitler a million years from now, they still execute his ass. Because no statute of limitations. So that statute of limitations is, well, if you do something, they don't catch you within a certain period of time, they can't try you for it. So some of you may not realize that, right? Still clear up, statute of limitations, right? So America, that should apply to America. No statute of limitations of what you did. So you're guilty of murder, rape, genocide, everything else. See, they're going to be judged by their own law. By their own law. Because they don't apply to themselves. You know, if they brought me in court first, I say, hey, hold it. How are you going to judge me when you're guilty of murder? Oh, no, give me that crap, because it's no statute of limitations. America's a corporation. You know, I don't know if you realize this, America's a corporation. It doesn't matter. It says, oh, our fathers did that. What does the scripture say? It says, I'm going to judge that nation that did that to y'all. That nation, that means, oh, he ain't dig up nobody from the past. The people that exist at that time is part of that nation. They try all kinds of ways to get out from under. And now they're trying to erase history. Let me talk about that for a second. Okay, I'm gonna do a little diversions here, bro. Since it's back, because I'm just gonna be so some. I'm just gonna just gonna talk. Okay. You know, they talk about false Israel over there, and false Israel doing the same thing America's done. Okay? They give everything. They honor people. Jefferson and Washington were pedophiles and rapists. There are all these things they try to get out of what they've done. And see, look at this AI thing. The problem they're having with it is the problem they can't tell you because they reveal themselves. See? Because you probably ask the AI anything and they're supposed to come and tell you. See, they have the same problem in China. See, in China, right, they had to put a hook in it. Because according to China, ideology and dictionary and everything else, oh, communism is a great thing. But if you bring it over here, deep seek, whatever they call it, right? And they look at, because they have to look at the dictionary, the AIs to say, okay, you ask a question, it gotta check dictionary, what's the meaning of these words and everything else, and try to come to answer, right? So if you run it over here, deep seek, whatever they call it, right, and say, okay, is communism bad? They're gonna say, yeah, it's bad, it's evil. That's the answer you want to get. But what if you ask it, is America evil? You would have to come and say, yeah, America's evil, disgusting, it's terrible. And so they have to put, oh, we can't have that. So they go to say China, did China was sent over abroad? Because I haven't done it, but I heard this guy was doing a critique on it. He says, if you check in America, they say book in it. So I can't answer that question. If you ask about the policy or politics of China, it says, well, I can't, the AI will come back and say I can't answer that question. It means I had to put a hook in it. You see, because they can't put out product. You can't put out product to say your product ain't no good, or that you ain't no good at create the product. So if you ask America, you ask the AI, this America ain't good, it's got to come and tell you it's a genocidal maniac. It's paid. This piece is weak as hell. Because that it is. I don't care what media they say. That's the fact. That's history. Their own history. Nothing good about this place. They stole it. They were genocide, killed it. It's on and on and on. There's no limit. And hundreds of years. So the problem they got to have is how they get around that. Okay? Well, then you got to rewrite the history. But to rewrite the history, you got to get rid of the evidence. You see my part of the motivation here? Because they want to move on into the future. And if AI is going to be trolling, that's a big problem for them. Anybody says America, because they portray themselves as great and beautiful, and the evidence, they can say it, and they brainwash their kids in school, tell them that, but then the kids say, oh, wait a minute, that's AI have different, So they say, oh, no, say fix AI, said, oh no, America's good. Say, well, can you explain to me how it's good? Tell me evidence, and then you got another problem. That's the thing you're talking behind closed doors. So I ask you a little bit on that. See, because I want to talk about this plan. Because the Bible telling you, I was going to print him, I'm not going to do it now. He was saying that, because they're telling you that false Israel is the real thing. And Jesus said it wasn't. That's their God. Right in the Bible said, no, you're fake. Your father's the devil. You're the synagogue. It says it right there. So that tells you something right there. That's a tell right there. But he's saying, in the end, all the nations will come against Israel. Come against Israel, destroy it. Now, if you think that's false Israel over there, then okay. But if that's the case, then you're going against it too. Because it's all the nations. But if that's us, that's a whole different story, right? I guess you know what I want to say real quick before I forget. I didn't mention it clear enough yesterday. I'm going to get to it in a minute, but let me say it now before I forget. I was talking about forces, collisions, pressure. I was showing how the devil's low structure, they move around fast and more collision. I was showing like the original people, they move real slow because they higher structure. And so the way the ignorant mind sees that is we slow people, we dumb people. See, look at them, they move around fast, take care of business. See what I'm saying? And niggas ain't doing anything, man. They sliding around, they slow. Because that's the way they will look at it, and that's the way they portray it. See how devils, they look how smart they are. That brings up another point too. It brings up how smart and talented. Yeah, make a note here because I see I'm not going to even get to my topic today. every time I say something, because these devils, I mean, it's just. That's because we made the most power, the strongest. If you're going to use metals, right? The strongest metal there is. So we don't feel the pressure like they do. See, the more the pressure you feel, that means you're going to move around. That's the more greater temperature is going to be, you can move faster. But we don't feel the pressure that they feel. We don't feel the pressure they feel. We feeling it, but we're not feeling it to the extent they're feeling it. And it's going to take a whole lot of pressure to make us come together. Because that's, and you look at it and say, man, look at them niggas, they're stupid. No, see, and that's why I say you got to learn the mathematics. That's what I'm not condemning my people. I know that's because they're not responding, because they're not being affected. The devil's being affected by his pressure. That means moving around. So you think that's good, they move. No, that's bad. See? Because it's like, here you a tank. You're a big old metal tank, man. You move around 5 miles an hour. Oh, yeah. Or you're a Volkswagen Beetle going 100 miles an hour. But when you hit something, what's going to happen? You see? So I'm going to just leave that alone, but that's what I say, you got to get your mind back because everything seems backwards. Because they say, oh, they move around so fast, they build everything else. Because it's not, your thoughts is totally connected to your actions. And your actions are your response to the pressure that you're under. Period. No exceptions. So they think faster, but think shallow. See, the analytical mind thinks fast. It's like, if you look at a vector, study vectors, force is just an arrow. But pressure is comprehensive, it's like, it's space. So, boom, they think real fast, but shallow. And we think slow, but deep. So we see the whole picture. Well, they still run around trying to figure the picture. We look over there, we see a tree. I see a forest, rather. They run around, they got to count real fast, man. They count fast. Oh, it's a million trees here. It must be a forest. And we see it right away. Because we think deep. They think shallow. They got to count all the trees. Oh, that's a forest. I hope you understand that. Which leads to another point. All it has to do with fear, right? Pharaoh, one of the things that Pharaoh, see, I keep telling people, you got to pay it. That's why you need to understand mathematics. Understand vectors and pressure, temperature, And then when you look at those verses, then you can pull it out of it because they're all mathematics. It's written that in a prose way, but they're all mathematics. Because it says Pharaoh told the people that they could not, if I understand it correctly, you need straw. I guess that straw means hay to make bricks. Now I don't know how to make bricks, but that's where the story goes. Right? As a matter of fact, let me get exactly right now. It'll take a second. Yeah. Make bricks out of straw. It's right there. I didn't go any further. So why are they telling you that? How can you make bricks? They said you had still make bricks, but you can't make without straw. How can you do that? What's that story telling you? See, they don't sell things for nothing. It's telling you they got to be creative to do that, because you need, right? It's like you need water to make ice, right? You gotta make ice, but you can't use any water. Well, how the hell? You gotta be creative. That's what he's telling you. So the children, he forced them to be, because he's telling you they was the creative force behind Pharaoh's Egypt. There was a creative force. That's what he's telling you there. That's what I've been telling you all the time. We the creators, the be, and even with Master Muhammad, did the technical side, and with the analytical side, and with the spatial side. That's what I say, be and it is. The be is the spatial, the creative side. Technical side is the one that brings it into existence, right? Master Muhammad and Shia did a technical side. We split, just like the male and the female, we split it into two sides, the technical, to make the technical more, as we split the male, the being into male and female, they made the male more stronger than the original being, and it made the female more beautiful than the original being. Because now, she had all the beauty, she didn't have the strength. She had just a little bit. He had all the strength, but not the beauty, right? But just a little bit, right? And so the same thing. So in other words, increase the power of that spatial side of the brain, just create the being almost all spatial, not almost all analytical. So that's why Master Muhammad is a technical marvel. Mother Plane is a technical marvel. But on the other hand, the angel is a spatial marvel, because nobody could, it was just too much for anybody. Just take spatial mind and figure it out. Technical mind can't do it. You understand? So they tell you we're the creative force. Because I tell people, I say, well, they tell you the devils are so creative. The Caucasian white people are so creative. I mean, they're so smart, intelligent. I said, oh, really? Is that true? I said, oh, let's do a little logic here. If that's true, then let's go to Germany. I think Germany is almost 90%, almost 100% white. And it used to be 100% white, right? They should be the most innovative on the planet, right? Because they're all white. They ain't got no worry about anybody else. They're all white folks. Or even France. What about England? Well, wherever, Russia. But they're not. Why is the most innovative country that was run is America? Why? Why is that? And they say that China, they're not innovative. They're very technical. They say they steal ideas from America, but they're very technical. See? They come up with new ideas. What new ideas they come up with? They do good with the idea. They take the information and they come up with great technology, but they haven't come with any invention. They come with the internet, none of this stuff. No invention, not one come out of this off, nothing, no innovation. Just highly technical. Right? Because we're here. And that's why Pharaoh didn't want us to leave. That's why Pharaoh kind of wants to leave, because he worked for them. We can't let them, because we lose that creative engine. Because without that, you got to have the ideas to do something technical. Somebody got to give you a blueprint and bring it into existence. Without the be, there's no is. Without the be, there's no is. And we the be. But they can't let us know that, because then we demand control. We the ones aspiring. That's why I said we aspire to the Industrial Revolution. We aspire to the AI age. And I can prove. But the point is that they don't want you to know that. They say necessity is the mother of invention. Who's more necessity? Who's supposed to press? Press is necessity. We're trying to get out from under that oppression. Think about that. They don't want you to know these things. It's my job to tell you these things. No one else is telling you. So let me move on. A few points. But the fear, the nature of the fear I want to talk about here is the fear of us. Again, that because of what I just said. If we're leaving, fear not having control of us anymore, the more control we have, the greater their fear becomes. Because the more control we have, the less they have of us. Right? It's balance. The more that we got of ourselves, the less they have. And the more fear they have. The more control they had of us, the more fear we had, the less control of ourselves. So now it's, right? The pendulum is swinging the other way. And that's the fear. And their fear is growing. But it says, right, they would react to it in a way that you wouldn't see it, but they were reacting to it. See, every act has an opposite reaction, so they're doing it. You know they're doing it because there's a reaction. Just because you don't see reaction, because you don't see the wind, that don't mean you don't know it's blowing, because you can see the leaves. But you understand the way because it's going to have to come to you in a dramatic way. Because Master Muhammad's going to have to shake you out of your slumber dramatically because you ain't listen to Elijah. See? Master Muhammad came and triggered. He came in the reminder of the Abrahamic covenant to set it off. Elijah Muhammad, right, start putting it into motion, preparing for the mission of the covenant, who would finish complete the process. But you had some intervention that would be stealing from the nation. And that's the one you allowed to deceive you, Farrakhan. And listen to this message. We ain't going anywhere. If you understand anything about pressure, I've been telling you, you know, that's we have to go. As long as they're here, we're under their control. How they don't have a right to, like I said, what do they have a right to put us in jail or anything? Well, what do they right to do? In fact, they're the criminals themselves. You see? So he's working for them. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to fight for America and all this stuff. Even when it says America will be destroyed. Elijah Muhammad went to prison, so we won't do that. And he's saying just the opposite. You wonder, you say, how in the hell is he actually saying the opposite on everything, yet people still with him? That kind of gets you, don't it? Well, that's going to change in a minute. It's changing now, actually. But that fear, and when you understand that, right, then you know you got to. This is happening right now. They're planning against you. It says they're planning against you, and so when you put all this together and see what it says here, let's look at what it says here. Okay. See, because let me put it this way. Just if you can, just say you the true seed of Abraham. Or would they want you to know that? People out of vision perish. And we don't have a vision, do we? Farrakhan didn't get no vision. Is Farrakhan providing the vision? He said, no, we're going to stay here. Is that a vision? He's not in no promised land. It's not none of his stuff. We stay here. We're going to get maybe 6 pieces of land or something, 6 states or something like that. There's no vision here. And then plus we ain't going anywhere, so, and we've been chastised. Oh, I meant to put that in, I forgot to do it tomorrow. We've been chastised because we're so wicked. Listen to this message. I pray to God that worm eat your ass. That's what video I was going to include, I forgot. He hasn't produced anything, but he won't blame you because he hasn't produced anything. And that gets to my part of my main topic here, is that independence. Right, let me get back if I remember. Let me get on over here. It says, men's hearts failing them for fear for looking after those things was coming in anticipation, right? On the earth, if you understand, that's talking about European countries, specifically America, that shall, for the powers of heaven should be shaken. So they wouldn't be feared because someone else's powers, because their power is shaken in the east. They're losing power. It means they're failing in a conflict there, and they're losing. And so, and their fear is, and the fear results. But you say, what's the conflict? And what, you know, they lose the power. I mean, they're in a conflict. Somebody losing, and why? Why would, particularly that loss, causing heart failure? I mean, that loss would be heart. Remember that loss is fatal. That loss is fatal to these people because it's challenged a fatal loss of empire. If Mars fell, that's tell you. See, I tell you these things. When you pay attention, you start seeing what they're talking about. You got to pay close attention. It's fatal. Whatever they see there is fatal to America. And when you go and look in the background and look and see, okay, has something to do with the Son of Man there. But the bottom line is that it says that fear is fatal and results in a conflict, a war. And so you can connect it up to other verses, right? That I'm going to talk about in a minute. See? But it's back to you. Because they lose control. There's something about there that's causing lose control, but lose control of who? You. Anticipation. Because whatever's there is coming here. Who's here? You. The loss there is affecting something here that causes them great fear. I mean, they're losing power over something here because of what happens over there. Is that too much analysis for you? That's what it's saying. If you understand what fear is, it's put all the right words there, fear, and some is heart failure, right? And it's going to be something, it's an incident that happened, because heart failure means you didn't say, oh, I saw the news and then go and eat and then have, no. As soon as you hear it, it causes you heart failure, stroke. So you hear, oh, God, wow. That means you must be somewhat familiar with it already. It's something you was expecting, you didn't, something that you was aware of, but you didn't spend it with, like, you betting a whole lot of money on something, then you lose. You say, oh, well, you see what I'm saying? So otherwise, because if you lose, man, what the impact that is. And that's a lot of things talking about in the Middle East. They say, man, if America lose over there, this could be, you see that kind of thing? They're actually saying that. So in other words, there's something that's going on, and you know it's a risk, and you realize it, because something you have to be aware of. And it turns against you again. Oh, I put all my money on that damn horse, I lost all my money, I have a heart attack. As long as that's what it's saying, it's something they know what they're familiar with. And they know the impact of it, of that thing happening, the impact will cause them heart failure. And what's the impact? The bottom line is, if you put all the scriptures together, connect dots, falsehoods go because they don't want us to know who we are. That means they lose control over us. Lose control of us, what's the impact on them? Total economic failure, possibly them they lose. Pharaoh didn't want us to leave because he said we was creative force behind them. And so forth, so on. And then plus the vengeance and all other things. So in other words, they wasn't ignorant of this. They knew the full impact. So it was something that they knew about that you didn't know about. And with the other way, they know the impact of it. And the impact is fatal. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters, on that one. I talk about this so much. And that's not a really detailed analysis. That's just if you just pay attention. Right? But who's paying attention? Who's paying attention, right? So this is their prescription for fear. I'll make them listen to what he's saying. I'll make America great again. That means he's trying to get power again. What is he doing? I'm gonna take this country. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take. He's trying to retain power, and people realize that people are in fear. They're in fear right now because they're losing power. They've been losing power over us ever since after the Civil War. And so fear also causes anger. And so anger and fear is increasing because losing more control over us. And so if you lose control, so that means you got to put more force down to keep control. Say somebody, you're pushing a balloon down under the water, right? I need to give me another pair of glasses here, brothers and sisters. Hold on a second here. I got the wrong pair. Anyway, say you see if these work. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, say you're holding a balloon underwater, right? And while you're holding the balloon underwater, right, somebody's pumping air into the balloon. Right? And you didn't know that. But that means it's hard to hold it down because it's got more air. And the more they pump it to it, the harder to hold it down. That's how we more energized we become, the harder it is to hold us under control. That means you got to put more and more. That means they got to put more and more of their energy. Now they go into debt and everything else, and they got to increase their military power and everything else, increase their police force and all this kind of stuff. Because all those are control mechanisms to keep us under control. Jails and all these things. Right? Welfare, all that stuff. All these things designed to control us. That's what Elijah Muhammad was there to break part of that, do for self. And on that note, let me see, I'm going to divert for a second. On that note there, okay, that's the bottom line message of getting the hell out of here. So how you be telling people you got to escape the gravitational vortex when your ass is deep in it? In fact, you're digging to go deeper. You on welfare, you on Section 8, all that stuff. I'm not saying these sisters, because they forced into that, because we're supposed to take care of them. So now you tell them they got to take care, they got to do that. You got to take care of your responsibility. See? It says the male is supposed to be responsible for taking that part. So you got to say, oh, you got to do both. Now I got to take care of the kids. I got to nurse the kids. I got to wash the kids. I got to bathe the kids. I got all this stuff, and then I got to go out and provide and work and all this stuff too. And that's what they ask these sisters to do. All they want to sit back and make babies and kick ass. See? And we're going to deal with those clowns. That's not accusation. That's just a fact. See? Because the point, especially if you got the knowledge. Now, a lot of us in this situation don't have knowledge, so that's a whole different thing. We deal with them differently. But once you got knowledge of it, and then you got to tell people, I don't know about the angel or whatever, that kind of stuff, and you're in that situation, you don't know a goddamn thing about anything. Because you don't understand the science to begin with. Because you're getting $1 million a day, and you allow somebody to control the issue of that money to you, whether you control it yourself. So you got your head deep up master's ass because you're not man enough to go ahead, because you're afraid, fear. Oh man, things ain't gonna work. Let me hold on to master. See, because we've been attached to master so long, some are still attached to him. Got a head between the legs and everything else, and lacking it. And that's what has to be broken. That toe. And those of you that can't, if you're stuck down there, we're going to leave you down there. Especially after Elijah Muhammad, you should not have that problem. If you heard Elijah Muhammad know anything about that, you should not be. How you going to go out? I don't know if any brothers and sisters I knew about when I didn't know any personal stuff, but they weren't on welfare. Section 8 while Elijah Muhammad was around. If they was with Elijah Muhammad. So how you say you got supreme wisdom and you got this, and especially you got the angel, and they call it a hypocrite. If you keep it to yourself, that's your business. But you want to tell everybody, man, you got to escape the gravitational vortex, you got to do something, and then you depend on master to feed you, to clothe you, tell you what to do, where you can sleep, where you eat, how much you can eat, where you can buy your food, what kind of food you can buy, where you can stay. And you're a man? And you hide behind your woman because you put her up there to do it. Go get that so we can have something to eat. Go get that so we can have some place to stay. And then you show any sign of disrespect in your ass, then you want to knock upside the head. Because you don't deserve respect. Because you still don't understand the angel. You don't understand at all. Because if you got $1,000 a day, you don't have to get it from master. You can go get it on your own, but you're afraid to go out there because, oh, man, I might fail. That same attitude as children of Israel had when they took them out of the wood. Oh, man, we ain't nothing out here, man. We should be back with Pharaoh. That's the whole story. I'm not going. Yeah, well, you out there now. You got to do for self. The devils did for themselves. They took everything. Yeah, we need to go back there and let them Master take care of us. He taking care of y'all right, ain't you? You take care of him too, right? You got your head plain stuck between his legs. Move on, bounce. He's feeding you. He's clothing you. He's dictating you. He's telling you. He has total control over you. He has control over something that's yours. Everybody gets the same amount of energy. That's yours. That's yours. Energy deprivation means we didn't have any energy. That's different. We didn't have any energy. That's a whole different story. But now you have it. That's yours. But if you want to give it to Master, oh man, I can't handle this, Master. Please, I got this money. Hey, boss, I got some money. I don't know what to do. Can you tell me what to do with my money, boss? Boss, can you give me some? Can you take take my money, boss, and tell me what to eat, man. Tell me where I can stay. That's where you at. Because you can take that money and do it yourself, but you don't see that. That was one of the things I had when I was Guam. I said, like, I had nothing. All I had was I knew I had positive energy. I knew that, right? So I said, I'm gonna control it. And they when I first, let me say a little stuff. You know, when I first got there, when they first threw me in jail, right? I wouldn't eat anything. I went on 12 months. They tried to force me to eat. I know. I don't want anything. I don't want anything from y'all. I want a whole month. That's more. That's all I could do is a month, right? I want a whole month to eat anything. I wouldn't take anything from them. They tried to give me a lawyer. I didn't want it. Everything they tried to give me, I didn't want it, because that means they have control of whatever they give me. See? Only thing I had to take is what they forced me to take. That's what I did. And so I started seeing my positive energies come into place. So I had things happen. I chose a lawyer. Like, oh, I'll take that guy. Not the one you want to give me. I'm starting controlling my energy. Okay? So forth, so on. You see? And based on the situation, I mean, I had that, So, and that's how I beat them. And they couldn't see it coming. They couldn't see it. They don't still understand it. See? Because they was telling me, think about it. They was telling me, if you make a deal, you just give you 60 years in jail, and then you have to get permission to leave the island. First of all, I wasn't guilty of anything to begin with. I knew what this is all about. And they hate folks like me in Guam. Believe me, don't go anywhere near that place. Don't even fly over it. But say, for instance, you put you in jail, right? I was trying to explain this to a person, right? What's the difference between that and welfare? The biggest difference is, man, nowadays you can have transgender, you can have somebody in there, because you got these guys that say, well, I identify as female, and so they can get over to the female side. And they go for that. They don't get the operation. They say, I identify as female, and some of these jails let them do it. They go to them. Anyway. So, I mean, they provide your food for you, right? They provide your clothes for you, right? So you're telling me where you can stay and where you can't stay, ain't they? You don't see it? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Mechanism control. They institute that when they saw the 60s, when you start talking about, I want civil rights kind of stuff. That's when it came in with that welfare and all that kind of stuff. That's why Elijah Muhammad said, welfare is going to say farewell. They came in that, the stats, control from the man, because the man had more control before they came this welfare stuff and everything than they had after it. Because women depend on him, right? They're providing everything else. Right? And there was more cooperation. Yeah, there was a lot of men beating on women back there too. I know that too. Right? But it was more cooperation. Okay? And the man, I didn't know any family that didn't have both parents there. I didn't know any family like that. You go there now, you can't find both. And then I can't blame the female. She said, I got to listen to your ass no more. I got another man taking care of me. Massa. Man, I take care of me. I don't need your dumb ass no more. You see what I'm saying? And Master take care of your children too. Master, that's your daddy. Who's my daddy? Master's your daddy. Trump is your daddy. He's the one paying you. He's feeding you, ain't he? Oh, Jim Nickenbob over there, he ain't your daddy. He ain't doing a damn thing. He get put some seed in me. And I ain't seen him since then. He ain't done a damn thing. He come around here and lay around and get some ask me to tell Trump to give him some more food. You understand that? Anyway, this is their prescription right here for the fear. And that's what he's saying. If you listen carefully, he's saying, and also he wants to put black folks back on the plantation. He was total fear. That's the whole thing. I'm not going to details, but that's all. They vote because if America wasn't in a state of fear, they would never vote for this man. The fear is coming to the surface. See? And they need to make sure that right now they have control over you physically, mentally, economically, and your mental fear is in jeopardy. Because your mental fear is know who you are. And if pharmaceuticals goes down, that means they lose control over that, and everything else follows after that. And so that's why they're so dedicated to hold on to false Israel, because that false Israel is the lock to keep your mind locked up. And that's what Farrakhan did, wash that lock to make sure you never tamper that lock. Because Elijah Muhammad said, here, no, man, here's the key. Farrakhan threw that key away. You ain't going nowhere, man. You're sinful and everything else. See? So soon I'm here to give you the key again, because once that, Master Muhammad is going to break that lock. And falsehood goes down, that means all of a sudden they lose control of you mentally. That's when you get your mind back. Everything else follows after that. And that means intense fear to them, because remember I said they know what they did to us. And then the Bible becomes clear, because they read the Bible too. See, like I tell everybody, most people know the Bible. It's there. They just don't know what it means, but it's already uploaded. So they know about Babylon, kind of. All of a sudden, well, false Israel. Think about from their perspective. If false Israel, if that's false, and them the people real Israel, and then Revelation said, doing them as double they did to us, and they're going to be chastised and plagues. They realize that's happening to them. Now, it's clear, and you're going to be the tool to do that. And they absolutely know. They absolutely sure it's going to happen, because that sureness already built in. Why? Because they were sure it was going to happen to Israel. They were sure that happened. That was about Israel and Egypt, what was happening over there. They were absolutely sure about it. They've been teaching it. So if that surety is there, I tell you, it's beautiful. That surety is built in. So therefore, they're sure it's going to happen. They just got the wrong, right? Like I say, I know that horse. I know a horse. Well, so let me say another way, right? You know something's going to happen. Absolutely, it's going to happen, but you just don't know. Well, let me say another way. Okay, let's say this. They know this is going to happen because the Bible says it's going to happen, but they know it's going to happen. But the thing is, they got the wrong character in there. So they switch character. They still know it's going to happen. There's no now somebody else going to happen to. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why that fear is going to get them, because they're going to say, "Oh, everybody's going to attack Israel. I'm sure about that. The Christians say I'm sure about that, and Jesus is going to come." And then they find out that the shortness is still there. It's just, oh, God damn, it's them. That's going to happen. You see, you understand the intensity of it? All this stuff been set up. See, I told you, we control them. They never was in control. How is Adam in control? We gave control to Adam. So they said, okay, yeah, how we lost control? No, we didn't lose control of the Holocaust. Because we said, hey, like in judo, right? Use the person's weight against them. So we used that situation in our purpose. Yeah, you oppress us, but we're going to use that to transform us. And then once we transform, let me speak to that for a minute. I don't think I ever really addressed that clearly. People say, well, every act has option. And I had somebody mention this, right? So it's a good point. You know? I mean, some people ain't, you know, I mean, they don't, they try to catch me up on a mathematical point, but I always blow them away, right? So he says, every action has an opposite action, right? Okay. So if they oppressed us and our reaction was to transform, isn't that the consequence? You're absolutely right. Then how's the consequence of kicking their ass? That's the consequence of your action. See? And you probably thought about it either. So, okay. Okay, it's a good point. Because my first reaction was that too. When I first thought about it, I said, oh. But once you transform to a diamond, right, you start broadcasting on a different frequency, a frequent wavelength, right? And remember, your mind power is on a different frequency. Yours is greater than it was before, greater than theirs, because now you're a diamond, right? You're on a higher level, so what you brought, your mental level is higher than theirs. And that's pressure. That's power. So now, right? So you start bringing in the world, right? That's what's off from the mind. That's destructive to theirs. You get it? Is it? So that was the actual consequence of what they did was the transformation. Bam, if that was it. But then when you start growing, when you start moving on, right, as you keep getting energy, right, then all of a sudden, right, you put more, you put, how you say it, I'm trying to put it away that it's easy to understand. You're vibrating on a higher level. That's higher power, which is greater than theirs. So it's destructive to them, and they can't do anything about it. I hope you understand that. So maybe I should explain it earlier. I don't know. I said, am I talking to children? You got to start thinking mathematically. I'll tell you how much is 10 minus 5, 10 minus 3 is 7, right? Then you go to the store and the guy says, okay, this costs $13 and you got a $20 bill. How much 13 minus 20? Call teacher, hey teacher, I got this. Well, you didn't understand the process. Because all you just remembering stuff. That's where the angel comes in. Because now you broadcast on a higher level and it's greater power than this. So now your power is overcoming theirs. That's the conflict. I told you it's going to be a conflict between us and them. But it doesn't come until we come together and there's a conflict between us, between the Israel nation and them. I showed it, right? Because now you broadcast on a higher level. You bring a new creation. You bring in a world that's high, a greater, remember it's based on the mind, right? But your mind is broadcasting a high frequency, high wavelength vibration in theirs. So it means you bring in a world that destroys theirs. Hope you understand that. Okay. It's a problem about, maybe nobody even thought, even asked that question. See, so I had to answer. So they said, oh, okay, I got it. I said, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying after you get your mind back, then you go to war. I said, it's a mind war. I'm just saying it. But like I said, people say I'm assuming it's too much. So I made it clear at that point. Because that's true. If that we transformed, and of course transformed, that's the consequence. So there's nothing to do to them. That was that's the reaction to their action. Was our transformation. But our transformation puts on a level to destroy them, because now if we continue growing from then, that's just, so that's a little, maybe that's a little too advanced for some people, I don't know. Let me move on. And so they have no power anymore. Listen, I already talked about that. Let me see if I can get to my, oh boy. I'm not going to get to what I wanted to get to today, brothers and sisters. I already explained this, destroyed wisdom was if it means they're going to be destroyed because the way of their thinking, remember, this whole reality is based on their mind. So if this reality is destroyed, it means their mind was destroyed. Their way of thinking was destroyed. Everything they did failed. If they were successful, they wouldn't be destroyed. That's what they're telling you, but you don't understand it. See? So everything, this so-called agreement, they're not going to make an agreement. They didn't go JCO peace bill. If they make an agreement, it's going to be fake. But I'm not going to make an agreement. They're going to war. It's not because it's driven, right, by the will of Allah. If you want to look at it from that point of view, it's driven because we've been energized, right? And the rains are energized too. Everybody's been energized, and when we're energy, the more collisions for them, and so forth, so on, right? So, and the energizing is because the universe is contracting. Every 50 years, we get a wave, and so they can't stop it. You put a pot on the stove, you put fire under it, right? And put water, it's going to boil. It may take a long, depending on how high the fire is, how long it's going to take, but sooner or later it's going to boil if you keep that fire under it. And everything will backfire. That's what it means. You will not be successful. When you're not successful, it means nothing works for you. And when there's nothing works for you, that's one stage of backfire. I mean, that's one stage of failure. But the next stage of failure is what? It backfires. So it's two stages. If nothing works for you, that's failure, right? But if everything's like, okay, every time I do it, nothing works. But if everything backfires, it's even worse. You see? I can't get my way, and then it works, man, they're actually coming after me. So it's two stages to it. Okay, let's look at this. I'm up. There's two parts, brothers and sisters. Let me check my sound here. It's one stage. Okay. Now, this is what I mentioned earlier, right? They have come and said, let's wipe them out as a nation. So the name of Israel be no longer remembered. Now, they take to my false Israel over there. Now, see? So they want to protect false Israel because they think that's false Israel over there. Now, there's some people know it's over there to keep our minds locked down. But the ignorant ones, they tell them that's false. So they want, right? And so they say, they oppress false Israel, anti-Semitism. And so they despise it. Everybody's aspired against them. Iran, they all aspired against false Israel. See? They made a covenant with you, even the Ishmaelites. See, that really gets them, right? Because see, I told you that's them Arabs. Because everybody knows that's they even know that, right? I think so. See, them Arabs, they're all against Israel over there, see there? And so they're all riled up. Because Israel, right, that's God. That's God's people. So I want to be on the God side of God. So you all fired up. See these evangelists, how fired up everything are? See, you get all fired up and revved up and everything, right? Then your blood's flowing. I mean, your heart's pumping, pressure's up and everything else, right? And then you find out that's not correct. But we the true seed of Abraham. Well, you still all fired up. You still got your high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? You still got all that going. Only problem is, it's now against you. You get it? That's how it feels. It's going to be so intense. Because you had all that, man. You was ready to kick ass and everything else. And all of a sudden you find out. They say, I see the enemy. The enemy is us. All of a sudden, you all fired up. Like the evangelists. Now, how you think these evangelists, they all fired up, man? They running for Israel. They give money and everything else. Oh, they found out that remember, they stayed there and they all fired up. So now all that fire, all that anger, all that energy and everything, oh, goddamn. You see? Heart attack. You get it? Stroke. Because you're in that state already, and you're directing against them, all of a sudden, you find out it's black by fire. You're directing against yourself, and you're still in that state. And so, on that level, that's heart attack. Hope you understand. I'm trying to get you to understand this in a mathematical way, brothers and sisters. So right here, look. See, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mighty than we are. They recognize, she said, more and mightier. They saying that you smarter than them and you stronger than them. They saying that. See, and you reproducing faster than them. Because why? At least they multiply. That means you're still multiplying, so you haven't got fat more than them yet, right? So that's why I put it. At least they multiply and come to pass that when they fall out of war, they join unto our enemies and fight against us and get up out of the land. They just parse that out. Right? They want to start from multiplying. That's abortion. Isn't that what who's the abortion directed at us? Martin Singer. What's her name? Martha Singer. Was it? Martha Singer, I think. Martha, first name, right? That's why you just Google it. Maybe not an iPhone. I know it's an iPhone. I don't use them things, man. Because you Google them things, and they whitewash those things. Reading this, and they like got an editor in there or something. Anyway, Margaret Singer, right? She's this tablet. The board abort you. It says you're going to use the preachers to convince you to abort your children. Just go read her history. That's Planned Parenthood. She started, right? Under connection with the KKK and so forth. But let's deal wise and let them know what's happening. At least they multiply. See, because they're already more than them. What's different to make go, right? Remember, this is supposed to be democracy. Think about that. Obama made him nervous, but he wasn't even one of us. And it come to pass, their war break out. That's the war that's about to break out right now. Remember the whole thing about a war and they saw in the Middle East. You see, talking about a war. They joined our enemies. Why would they do that? Get some revenge. See? Because we mighty and everything, but if we mighty and more, how come they can? Because they still have control of us and we just don't know it. That's why I say they're wisely. That means they don't know what's going on. That's another thing. Tell you, well, if they knew what's going on, how could they do wisely with it that we already know? Keep them ignorant. That's all written in there. Keep to this. See? Keep them ignorant to it. But the war breaks out, and that actually happens. That's the problem. The war breaks out, and it actually happens. They wasn't able to prevent it. And we come together and fight against them. Isn't that what happened? I told you, we come together, a mighty great army. If you don't just say coming together as a mighty great army, you say come mighty great country club. Armies for war. So we fight against them. And then we lead a country. Exactly what they're saying. The same thing. All these things saying the same thing. Is just you got to be able to put the pieces together. That's exactly what they're afraid of, and that's exactly what's happened. So if that's what they're afraid of, and that's what happened, that means they're going to have a total fear, because this is something they feared, and it's come to pass. And now that's what they're fearing. And now they see it, and they're going to see it happen. That's why hearts be failing, because they fear this situation that's about to happen. Because the power is broken, and the power is shaken. That's what it is. That becomes this reality. That now that we know what's going on, right? And so now we turn against them. Why we turn against them? Because they've been oppressing us. It's all written in there. Why would you, right? And then lead the land. It's all there, brothers and sisters. But if NFL is your thing, then you go with that. Okay, let me go ahead and play this, brothers and sisters. See, brothers and sisters, the point here is they took us, grabbed us, locked us in the middle cage, and false Israel is there to make sure we stay in it. That's the stone they put over it. That's the story where it's talking about the Bible. They killed Jesus, put him in a tomb, and rolled a stone over him. Make sure he don't get out. That's what they're trying to tell you there. Anyway, move on. So I'm going to go over this briefly. I explained to you about pressure. So if you don't want to understand, you don't want to study pressure, you don't understand these things, and let's keep on like going. Why are you going? Because you get what you invest in. You don't invest in yourself. You're not investing in the future. You're not investing in paradise. Then you ain't gonna get it. You invest in America, then you're gonna get America. You invest in this world's life, then you don't get this world life. That's what I said. Those ones world life that God hastens on to them. You invest in it. Okay? So if you're sitting around here and you ain't been investing, you investing in Master, I need some more food. Master, I need a place to stay. Master, okay, then you invest in that. See? If you think I'm here to convince you to do otherwise, I ain't. I keep telling you, I'm not here to convince you to do anything. I'm here to give you information. You already went to the hard card. Send me the information and give you a ladder. I ain't telling you whether to climb or not. Here's a ladder. Here's a ladder to promised land. There's the covenant. Here's a ladder. Now I'll leave it there. I have to make sure the ladder stays there. That's it. Here's a ladder. The big sign, that's the promise. That's it. That's the information. And you climb it or not. It's up to you. I'm only interested in one that's climbing it. Lamb's Book of Life. If you can't climb it, those climb halfway went down. That don't mean nothing to me. You got to climb all the way to the top. That's what the book is. You climb all the way to the top. Those are the ones I'm interested in. If you can't climb it, then bye. You don't understand. You got that. They gave you that messed up thinking. That's what people lost for lack of knowledge. That messed up thinking. See, we all the same. Now you got Ishmael. Oh, we all the same. See, now I'm skin. Oh boy, what's gonna happen to that fool? I could tell you, but we'll see. He ain't gonna like it. Well, he definitely ain't gonna like it. I give you a hint, but I ain't. But the thing is that I explained to you, right? And so they're low mass, low structure. They move around much faster than everybody else. But that's not good. And we're high, but we're low, we're high, so we move around real slow. So look, they're slow, they ain't moving around, they ain't doing anything. And it looks bad. It looks bad to me, man. My folks ain't doing nothing. And visually, it did look bad initially when I understood, when I studied the math of it. So, that's because they're better than everybody else and they ain't feeling the pressure. See, let me see how I put this. Say if you're in a situation where somebody tell you, okay, you got to carry this 100-pound rock somewhere, right? So if you're strong, you got some structure, man, you got it. You're taking your time. No? But if you're weak, man, you have a hard time with them. You're going kind of, you're trying to roll it and everything else. And that's not a good analogy. But well, I'm not how good this analogy is. Say you're on an island, right? And you know how the island works. And you know all the food is and everything else, but you lay back, man. You win something, you say, I go over here and take this or whatever. But if you don't know, you run around, looking for food, find you're really active because you don't know. You move around a lot. And you fight with other people, man, give me that food, man, because you don't know, you see the food and they see it, but you're fighting for it. And you do all this kind of stuff, all these collisions, because you don't know. The other person, they see? And they look at the other person, how come he's sitting around? He don't know, how come he out here fighting for food? See, because the devil's fighting for everything. See? But you can take the Africans, they're some of the best part of, they ain't running. Okay, I don't know if I can give a good explanation of this, brothers and sisters, but our brother Esau, they sell the best land on land on the planet, Africa, what you call Africa, right? Right? They got all the best materials and everything else, but they don't say they're doing too much. But devils, they don't have anything. They got to steal. Remember, they got to steal. They got to fight. Everything they want. So who's the strongest there? The one that have, or the one that's got to try to get from everybody else? That's what devils do. Africans don't have to go tell anybody's land they had the best. If you got the best, why are you going to take, you don't need to go take the worst. They have to go and exploit. They have to go in and steal other people's land. They have to do all that kind of stuff. So look at, see, man, they're adventurers, man. They had to sit around. You know, they had everything right there. Why they had to sit around? They sit around, man. They got to go. They got to climb and everything else. Look at them. They walk around, no clothes on, all that kind of stuff. But you ain't got anything. So you fighting them. So who's the strongest there? But from that point of view, we the strong sea because we conquistadors, and we take stuff, we fight, and we got the best armies. Like, yeah, you need all that stuff. But where's it getting you? I don't know if that analogy helps you or not. The bottom line is, if you know pressure, I don't have to go analogy because you know how it works. The weaker things move around faster. That means they collide more. The stronger things move around slower. And they don't collide as much, but even if they do collide, they can withstand it because they made of titanium or steel or iron, while these down here made of porcelain. And when they collide, they don't survive it. If they collide with iron, they definitely gonna be destroyed. So anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters. So I try to give you this picture here. Try to give you the explanation how pressure works. Okay. And I try to show you, see, devils, right? They move around much faster. In the same pressure, their temperature is higher. That's where we're temper come from. They got high tempers. They're more volatile. See this? Okay, and see. But if you know they're colliding, right? Okay, but then you take the next one. They're not moving around so fast. And they made a bigger, greater materials. They move around. So the other ones are high war, this may be low war. Because collisions, that's war, it's collision. When the collisions get violent, then you call that war, right? And you go to the next level, see, they don't move around that much at all. That's the Asians. Right? They move around not as much as the other ones. So they maybe have slow conflicts, internal conflict, but not war. So you say the devils, they at war all the time. You say the Chinese, they preparing for war. Right? And this one here, like they say, oh man, well, you know, if anybody mess with us, we good, you know, they're more laid back, and Africans hardly moving around at all. Because that's the way pressure works. So the most violent ones are the weakest ones. The ones always fighting all the time. But they try to make like that's the best ones. And the Africans are stupid. See? But when they got collisions, because every time the Europeans have collisions with the Chinese, they always lose. They don't tell you that. Don't take word for it, go check it out. When they lost in Korea, they lose to the Koreans, North Koreans, they lost to the Chinese. MacArthur ran those Chinese, they came across the border, and they wasn't no 2 feet tall like they was telling people in the movie. People were 6 feet tall and carrying on. They had the propaganda. Oh, I mean, I went and kicked their ass, man. 2 feet, no. Some of the 6 biggest panda bears. They came across a border, North Korea. Most had no guns, anything. There was so many of them. They come run across there. They overrun the American units and take their guns. And they kicked MacArthur's ass. And they forced him back to what you call South Korea. And he tried to get Truman to drop a atomic bomb on him. And Truman wouldn't do it. He was afraid. He said, man, we don't want to go to war with China. And so, how we made what they call I forget what they call it. The words right to my tongue. Anyway, where they taking the armistice, where they say, okay, we just won't fight. We'll stop right here. That's why you got South Korea and North Korea. You see? Same thing in Vietnam. They lost to the, because they sent the Marines up north. They were supposed to be toughest. And they were fighting North Vietnamese, but the Chinese came across the border and they kicked their ass. They're the ones that kicked them out of Vietnam. You see? And back then they didn't have any, remember, back then they didn't have jet planes, all the stuff they have now. Jet planes and submarine, and all that stuff. And they was kicking their ass. So what do you think they have right now? They got full-fledged, I think they have more naval ships than anybody else, and so forth, so on. See? So that's the nature of pressure, if you understand it. I try to make it as simple as possible, brothers and sisters. I'm not just making it up, you can just check this out for yourself. So when you put them all together, it's conflict, right? But the devil's right. They the ones causing the conflict. They're the hottest of all of it. All of them responding to the pressure, right? But they respond more violently. Yet they can't withstand the violence because they're weaker. The collisions they can't withstand, but even though they're most violent. Think about that one. That's just the math of it, right? Here I'm showing the conflict between, I'm going to show in a minute, Europeans. Let me just move on now. I'll explain it better in a few minutes. And soon my job, right? In fact, I need it. Okay. If you read the Injil, he says, he has to take on the whole world. He has to defeat, he says, the God, Master Muhammad, he said he was the Air Force. So I back you, I stand behind you, but you're more on the ground. Right? He's got to kick off the tribulations. He's got to make out the demons. So, right? And then the traitors and all that, got to separate them out. Right? He's got to go to war with Ishmael, take our land back. He's got to fight. The ghost going to attack him. Says these 10 kings will make war with the Lamb. They attack the Lamb. He can overcome them. He got to take out the beasts. Who can take war? Who make war with the beasts like the beasts? As America. Then he got to end up Italy. That's just totally, he got responsible for all that. That's all on him. So he ain't got time for your bullshit. Okay, Commodore Hodge. I want to show something for, okay, let me move on. Let me see if I got that here. The plan. I got it, but the way I did it, hold on. Let me just, give me a second, brothers and sisters. I have it, but the way I did it, I didn't think about it, so hold on. It's going to take a minute. Okay, I can do it with this one here. Okay, I'll go here. And take this out. I don't know. Yeah, take that out. And okay, let's take this out too. Make the point here. Hold on. It's been out a few seconds, brothers and sisters. Okay, yeah, I know I forgot that. Okay. Oh. No, this one I got. Okay. Do it this way. Hmm. And this one here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Almost there, balances. Okay. Just reverse it. Okay. There you go. I do it. Okay, just about there. Okay, I do it. Let's go. Mm-hmm. It is. And okay. Okay, Boston, here we go. This is what I wanted to show. Little graphic here. See here. Now, the Earth and the injured key represents, that's the Earth. And so the top, you have 6 wings, but the top 2 wings are the original side of that, right? So in other words, they're Caucasian, they're like Master Muhammad. They're Caucasian on their maternal side, but on the paternal side, their father's side, they're original. You know what I'm saying? So they're black on the inside, but white on the outside. That's the Iranians. They usually all black, right? Like a demon here, so he's white on black on the outside. He's really white on the inside, because he's on the maternal side, right? He's black, but on the paternal side, the father's side, the seed, he's really white. They're really devils. The point I'm trying to make here is this. See, I said Armageddon is a European war, but also the war in heaven. I see. I was wondering somebody would pick that up, but I can't. I'm past the lamb side. I'm at the lion side now, because I was putting information out there and see if anybody come back and see. If I tell you everything, then you don't learn anything. What good is if you go to the gym? I'm lifting all the machines. You got to start lifting something yourself, right? So they should have seen this. So that's the European war too. What's going on around there right now? See, because they're considered European, part of Europeans because of their maternal side. That's the way the Key works. Master Muhammad, right? His mother's a devil, but his father's original. Okay. Okay. So the thing is that this conflict, remember I said they conflict together? So the point is, when they, as the war built, there's wars right going on right between them. Which Armageddon is going to be, right? What's left? Put that away. I don't want to go into detail. But this war right now is they're the most violent, right? And so the thing is that when America, they collide. Remember, they all collide with each other. But the Shia, right? Syria's coming back. I don't go into that kind of detail right now. But the bottom line is that they're going to be part of the war, but they got steel inside. See, they porcelain on the outside, but they're steel inside. So when they collide, right, these are going to be a shock because they think they're fighting porcelain, and they know they're fighting steel. They got this porcelain coating. So they knew it was fighting steel, they wouldn't fight. Porcelain would not fight, normally fight steel, because anywhere in the world you're going to go against a Lamborghini with a Volkswagen Beetle. If I understand it correctly, Volkswagen Beetle is made of plastic, while Lamborghini is made of solid steel. I may be wrong about that, but but you get the idea. Some of those cars, they are made of solid steel. I think that I'm not sure of the Porsche, but I think Lamborghini is more expensive than a Porsche. But I think it's made of steel. So if they get a collision, you know what's going to happen. That Volkswagen Beetle is toast. See, so this guy he not going to take and try to ram no Volkswagen no Lamborghini with his Volkswagen Beetle. He's insane. That's what's happening. So when the war happens, right? That means the series that's the master. They're going to destroy them. Because they going against porcelain, but they think they're going against porcelain, but they're actually going against steel. So the porcelain may crack on the outside, but then hit that steel. And that's just the way it says it's going to happen. And it still breaks them, breaks their power. We're going to stand up, brothers and sisters. See, all this stuff is in the angel. You don't find this information anyplace else. And speaking about exactly what's happening right now, and everything I've said so far happened. The only thing hasn't happened, and that's, you see the story of Jonah, right? It said the timing. And he didn't like it. And even the witness can say, how long was you waiting for? How long? So, hey, he's the God. He has to make his move. So he'll make when he's doing it in the right time. Okay, let's look at this. I'm not going yeah, okay, I'm definitely going I'm going to close out a few minutes, brothers, because I'll be another 2 hours explain all of this. For ho, the day cometh that shall burn the oven, and all the proud ye and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. The proud, those, hey, I ain't gonna listen to that, I ain't gonna listen to that mess of the covenant, and that damn Solomon, right? Wickedly, right? Is that the devil they're talking about? The proud, who's the proud? Right? See? And wickedly be stubble, and they that come and shall burn them up. Burn them up. Shall lead them neither root nor branch. That means total. And if you go down here, you better understand of it. It says, and fear not those who kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. And see, you didn't know that before. They didn't know back 1,500 years ago. That's your DNA. Your soul ain't no spooky body inside of you. It's your DNA. That's why it says, no root or branch, because it'll totally wipe you out. Your seed and everything. And I could explain that, why that is, but anyway, I move on. And it's the same thing here, okay? And here we come, this is the deal, right? Come, let's deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and come to pass that they fall out of war, they may join unto our enemies and fight. I explain it. That's their fear. And then when they realize, because when this war takes out, they're going to be, see, because they want this war. And they're going to be excited, man. Their adrenaline's going to be blasting. See, excited. Oh, man. You know? It almost says like, you go to, you go to a horse race, and you're a horse that you bet on, man, and he's winning, and you didn't put all your money on it. He's winning. He's about 2 lengths ahead of everybody else. And just before he gets to the finish line, that sucker stumble and falls and breaks his neck. You say, oh man, but you all fired up and all, but you got all that adrenaline, and then you realize you just lost everything. But you're still in a state of high. That gives you a heart attack. The stress of that, because you're all fired up already. See? But it says, and this is their abortion. That's one part of it. And so we always see it played out. But that didn't work. That wasn't effective enough. So putting people in prison is a form of abortion, ain't it? Because that means you don't have the babies at all. You've been in 20 years. When you come out, you ain't making no babies because you're too old to make them. While you're in there, you ain't making no babies. Right? And how many people, they got millions of people in prison right now? I think, they got over 1 million in prison right now? They ain't gonna tell you the truth. Let me look real quick. I'm gonna close out, brothers and sisters. I said, maybe I'll do part 2 later on today. Maybe. So I'm doing so much lately, brothers and sisters. 3 hours at the gym, all the studying, putting these graphics together. That's what I mean by 100%, brothers and sisters. In 2022, black individuals represented 32% of the total prison population, 1/3. And you less than 10% of the population. 1/3. And that's over 100,000. It's more than that. Anyway, 100,000 is a lot. That's more effective than abortion. That could be 100,000 babies every year. And long prison sentences. So a lot of them, when they come out, they ain't making no babies anyway. If they even come out, even if they even come out straight. Or disease. I hope you know that AIDS is really rampant in the prisons. Because of sodomy and all other stuff going on. They don't tell you that. Right? See? So abortion. And then it says, well, that wouldn't work. That didn't work. Rivers. I'm not going to go into rivers today, brothers and sisters. Yeah, but that gets involved with China and another war that they're setting up. The bottom line is they got to get rid of you. Folks on the bottom line is the purpose was to get rid of you. They plan to get rid of you, eradicate you. It's not false Israel. So when false Israel goes down, then you realize it has to be you're talking about. Throw them to the river. See? And it came to pass because Pharaoh charged all the people saying, every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. Cast the river. The bottom line is they want to get rid of your seed. Get rid of you. They don't care about the demons, because they want to make more demons. Did you pick that one up? They keep the women alive because they raping the women. Why do they want to keep the daughters alive? They raping them. They don't keep them alive to do work. Work at Popeyes. They don't care about it. Because demons, see, they black. But they, on their mind. And let me say one other thing about demons. You know, there's a demon plague on the planet right now because they spread this all over the place. So you got demons in China, you got demons in the Middle East, you got demons in every country where they spread this seed. And that's why you got some unrest in the world. Because all of a sudden, each country was homogeneous. They was working, everybody was working together and everybody, all of a sudden, I want to be American. I want democracy. I want to riot. Where was that coming from? Because they think just like their dads do. America, they devils. And that's what they want. So they got unrest all over the planet. Those are demons doing that. It's a demon plague. Because they ain't saying, hey, I want to be like Sudan. No, I want to be like America. We want freedom. Freedom. Freedom? This country is a land of freedom? Okay, if you say so. I want freedom. I want democracy. I want capitalism. Capitalism will save your ass. What's the reason why you're poor right now? That's North Star together. So why are they thinking that way? They think the same way the devil's thinking. Because they're demons. They got demon plague all over the planet. And my job is to get rid of demons that's affecting my community. But there's going to be a demon purge as soon as this war starts. Once this war starts, going to be a demon purge all over the planet. How you know? Because everybody's been against America, right? And all these demons, they've been pro-American, right? All this shit has come to the fan. If you understand the energy, you understand matter, pressure, all stuff just makes sense. Because they all of a sudden, right, they ain't got no backer no more. They've been causing all the confusion, rioting, marching, all this shit. We want marching. And now their patron, their anchor is gone. And so the country's going to get rid of them, all of them. So when the demons go down here, they can go down all over the world. Be a demon purge all over the world. I don't think I ever told you that one before. But that's something you could have figured out if you was thinking, studying. Okay, I think I'm going to let it go here, brothers and sisters. Well, let me say this real quick. Yeah, whispering of the devils. So here's the sisters, right? But see, the female devils, they're the most wicked, nastiest, filthiest things on the planet. They are. You know, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. They say, oh, our women were sick, they was naked and everything else. Look at them. Where do you think these panties come from? They walk around the pants, all the crack of their ass and everything else. That's them. You go to the gym, man, you can't, it's insulting. You can't tell them between the hoes and the whatever. The hoes must be upset. I mean, the prostitutes might be upset, man, because now I can't advertise. Because you do a false advertisement. Well, are you? I mean, I get paid. They come, but you just do it for nothing. That's unfair competition. You're just showing your ass and you just jump in bed anybody for nothing. That's unfair competition. Prostitutes, man, you can't see before. I mean, years ago, you could see probably be on the corner. You know, as a prostitute now, you don't know. You don't know. And then they get our women. They look and see. They tell them, "Oh, you need to be free. You need to be this." And they got some movie now. They got a black woman, black president. They're doing all this crap right now. They're trying to get you. They know what's. Remember, if you understand about throwing to the river, you understand why they make those movies. Because they want you patriotic and everything else. For they has war with China, and I don't want to go into. Maybe have a whole presentation on that, brothers and sisters, but that's. I know you can get some other stuff. You're not gonna get that either, because you can't see it. They think we're ahead of you. They say they think and figuring you out. They're planning against you. So how do you get rid of you? Throw in the river. You think they're gonna take the baby and throw in the river? Is that what you think? If you understand, the river remembers that war to go. America, China, India, and they got 200 million man army. And Americans are planning for war with them. So they tell you America's planning for war. That means America know they're going to war with them. So if they go to war with them, who do you think going to fight the war? Who do you think going to fight that war? Who do you think going to fight that war? Mention to that 200 million man army. There's only about 300 million people in the United States altogether. America, if they maybe get an army of maybe 2 or 3 million people at the best. And they ain't soldiers. Remember, they need support and everything else. So actually, soldiers fighting, they may maybe get 1 million against 200 million, and they never won a war against China yet. Every time they got fun to get their ass kicked, and they got 200 million man army, and they say, is that just China, or is that China in it together? If it's just China, hell, then you got the Indians backing them up because they gonna be with them. I told you they're gonna. Now they say Indians closed up to China. I told you. So say you got 1 million against 200 million hardcore soldiers. So what America's got to do, they got a draft. Remember, a lot of people support. They not fighting these support people. So they say they got 1 million soldiers totally focused. They got to train them. And they got a draft. And now they can draft you because on Elijah Muhammad they couldn't because he had fixed it because of the Ali thing. That you was exempt, but not for you ain't no more. We'll fight for America. We'll fight for it and all this stuff. We ain't going nowhere. Exactly what that thing says. They'll fight our enemy. They fight with our enemies, and then they'll lead the country. That's exactly what. We ain't gonna fight against America. We're gonna fight for America, and we ain't gonna leave the country. He's saying it. He's saying exactly what they're afraid of, what they want us to stay here and help them fight, and then we lose. They got 100 all in prison. If they have a draft, they're gonna draft all the eligible black males, productive black males. You get the picture, and you will not come back home. You will not get back. You will not survive it. How many black males, productive black males are there? If there's 17 million, I ain't talking about the demon of 17 million, right? Okay, say half is female, say that, right? Okay, just make it 18, around 18. So you got, that means 9 million, right? Okay, how many of those is elderly? Half of that? They put about what? About 4 or 5 million? Then how many of those are children? Okay. So what? You come out about 1 million at the end because someone's sick, overweight, all that kind of stuff. So maybe you get 1 million blacks out there. That's productive. The old folks ain't. If they don't come back, then you destroy the nation because now you only got a few left and you can manage them. That's what they said they plan to do. Because why are they planning for war with China? Look far ahead. How did China become so powerful? They made China powerful because they didn't want you to have those jobs. They ain't still a goddamn thing. America sent the jobs to China. They sent them to China. Go back and check it out. Because they didn't want you to have them. They made China strong. They made China why? Because they planned to make war with China. They didn't have to make China was a basket case in the 1950s. That's the plan to get rid of you. All this stuff came about at the same time. They put falsehoods up there. They started planning. They started planning it back then. Without Muhammad mentioned that we were the true Abraham, they started planning right there. False Israel, get your mind, abortion, Planned Parenthood, all that. Build China up. So have war with them. And that's how we finish them off at the end, throw them in the river, throw them in that war. That'll finish them off. So I said it, I made this for once. I really don't give a damn whether you listen to this or not. That's your business. But I do have certain sympathy for those that's lost for lack of knowledge. And how that sympathy going to play out? You know how it's going to play out? It's going to play out. We're going to tear your ass up, those of you that got in the way. Those of you that waste my time, getting in my way, bugging me, and instead of me getting this message out. That's how my sympathy is going to play out. Because you're responsible for them. We're going to hold you responsible for them having lack of knowledge. We're going to hold you responsible for that. Because every time you get in my way, taking my time up and all that kind of stuff, wasting my time pretending you this and all that kind of stuff, right? That's information we got there. They might have got to them. Because you wasn't giving it to them. And what you giving to them was distorted. And so they look and say, hey man, that stuff don't sound right. And they betray that to me. That's why I stopped everybody. Okay, see it right here? What I'm saying here is, say the goal, that's us, and we in the control of the devils, right? Okay, so they have total control. They hate it. They hate us 100% because they change 100%. You change something you hate. I told the brother the other day at the gym, oh, yeah, well, I said, how you know somebody hates you? I said, they changed 100%. Yeah, that's right, man. I said, well, they did to you. I ain't changed. I said, what's your name? What's your religion? What's your culture? They shut up. Because none of it is always the devil wants you to be. What's your religion? So they got total controls right here, right? So they watching, so. And see what's happening. You start getting stronger, they have less control over you. You get stronger, so it's harder to press you. It takes more energy to press you. To try to hold you back there, and they don't have it. Right? See? It's getting hotter and hotter. So now, man, look how much they lose control of you because you're getting stronger and stronger. They still have control of you because we're still here. But they're losing it. So now she's hot now. Time to sleep, they're going to attack you. Because they want to make it the control over you gets more violent. Because it takes more and more energy. So the control, so it's more the violence. So it said they're going to attack us in the end. That's why it says flee. When they say they lose control, that's their last thing to flee. That's what Pharaoh's last thing was to try to set his armies after us. Okay, bro, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm leave it, bro, sister. So I'll finish up tomorrow, probably maybe later on today. I think I covered everything. Oh. You know how they put all these tariffs on China and everything right now? Now, when you read the story about the goat and the ram, the goat represents China and India. They're going to come against America. It says their feet didn't touch land, but they came from the west, in easterly direction. That means it had to come across the Pacific Ocean. If you look at the map, the geography, you can't make another conclusion. The goat has to come from China, India, because their coastline is the Pacific Ocean. That means their feet don't have to touch land to come here. They're going to boats come here. They have to cross no other land to get here, because their borders right on the ocean. Otherwise, you got to say the goat is America. That's going to attack Europe. And the Europe is the ram, which don't make any sense. It's got to be one or the other. It's coming from China to America, or it's coming from America to Europe. Because it's going from the west to the east direction, and its feet not touching land, so it's going across the ocean. Right? Or you can say it's Europe getting ready to check China. Because they're going across the, if I got it right, they've been going across the Pacific Ocean on the other side. So there's got to be one. It's got to be either China, India, right? They got to be the goat attacking the ram, America, which is two horns, American, Britain, Gog and Magog. Or it's got America, their feet not touching land, they're going across the Atlantic Ocean and attacking Europe. Or it's got to be Europe going across the Pacific Ocean attacking China, India. And the only thing that we see right now on the horizon is China is getting angry with America, and they're expecting a war with China. So that falls right in there. It's got to be that. And they say they're preparing for war with China. So that's the goat. India following. And it says, when the goat came, it says, it came with great anger. Isn't China getting very angry at America? You notice that? The anger is increasing, the temperature's increasing because of tariffs and everything else. See? We're there. We're not years away. We're there. And so right now, a lot hinged on this so-called meeting they have today on Saturday. It's not going anywhere, brothers and sisters. What's fueling this is the fire is under the pot. The fire is on, and war in the pot, and the war's going to spoil sooner or later. There's nothing you can do unless you turn that fire off, and you can't do that because the fire was energized. It's coming from the universal contraction. That's what's causing actual global warming. But the bottom line is that's what's happening. So there's nothing they can do to stop it. And it's happening, and we see everything falling into place. Temperatures getting hotter, 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 China, and so that's the point. But remember, they made China strong. Why did they do that? See? So Trump said, well, we're going to cut tariffs on you right now. Well, see, maybe he said, see, think about it. They could stop China years ago, just stop trading with China, what Trump claims he's doing right now. Right? So now they're fearing China. So now they want to cut trade, stop it. But it's too late. See what I'm saying? So think about it. If they knew there was a solution, how can they do it before? They could stop China from getting as powerful. They did it until right now. Because they figured China's getting too powerful. They don't want to lose this war. They want to keep the war going. They don't want it to be a nuclear war. They want to get a war with China, right? Enough to get rid of us. And once it blows up and get really hot, then they'll settle. Hey, no nuclear war, we'll settle. You can have Taiwan or whatever, and then we're gone. I know you don't see it that way, but that's what's happening. It's a throw in the river. That means they have to be planning for that, and that's exactly what happened. They have to be planning for us to be destroyed that way. So now they want you to be patriotic or join the military. They got all these black females now. They super karate, they super Bruce Lee. And you know, that's bullshit. Right? Oh, I love America. We got to fight for America, man, our country. And Farrakhan's pushing that. This is our country. We got to fight for it. So they get you patriotic. So now it's easy to get you in there. See, it's not going to work out that way, but that's their plan. If we start Adam and Eve, that's the plan. If you understand that story. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's what's going on here. Abortion, and all this other stuff in the background I was explaining about. Getting control of you and your children, especially the males. It's welfare, and that's all that stuff was for. That was the counter Elijah's program. or still self-help. No, you ain't gotta look at your man for nothing. He ain't nothing. Come on, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, mama. Come over here, come here. I'll give you a check every month. You ain't gotta listen to him. And you can raise them children. Don't matter they got braids and want to be a woman and earring and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he got to be all he can be. That's all it's all about. And how much you participate in that, especially after knowledge. They say after knowledge, and you still do stupid after knowledge, and you worthless. That's all the plan is. Now sisters fall victim to it because I'm not against them on this. I don't think any sister go out there volunteer and say, I want to go get welfare, and I don't think sisters do it. Maybe a few. My sister got involved in that, but because this Negro pushed her into it. Because I came out of the military, when I came out, I was 21. She was 20. I got 3 kids already. He's trying to have more kids because she get more money from welfare. I said, was you crazy to listen to that kind of stuff? I got off welfare, and you got into the nation, right? And she had a brother taking care of business for her. Brother named John. He was taking care of business in the nation, taking care of business and everything else, right? But that's another story, like I said, she didn't have no mother to teach her how to be a woman. Or she was my father for that 5 years, from the time I was 14 to I was 9, between 9 and 14. It was just me and my father. So he was hardcore. So she was that means she was between 8 and 13, and so she, at that age, all she had was him, and so she was more like a man than a woman because she didn't know how to be. She had no mother to teach her how to be a woman, and that's the problem she had with John, because she was trying to control him and she was doing all kinds of stuff, and one day John came and told me. I said, "What are you doing? What are you?" I said, "Them babies ain't none of John's babies. You got about 6 babies over there, not one of them is his. And he taking care of the baby, working 2 jobs, because he's working, but I was forming at Mama Speak newspaper at the time. I said, hey, brother. I said, you got these jobs, what you work on these jobs for? I said, look, come over work for me. I'll get you on with me, and you make enough money to cover what you make on those jobs. Right? So he did. And she got mad because she didn't want him around me. Because I already told her what she was doing was wrong. Why are you doing that to him? Why are you doing this kind of stuff to him? He's taking care of his kids, and those kids love him. And she had all boys at the time. I said, he taking care of his kids and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, the bottom line is, I shouldn't get into personal stuff, but the bottom line is, she tricked him into having a relationship before they got married. So let me tell the whole story. And John went for it. And then she held it over him. If you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to report you. I said, you don't be doing shit like that. I told him, when he told me that, I said, had him work on these jobs, and because he wanted to be in a nation, man, that was more dear to him than anything. And she was going to get him thrown out, because you could throw out for that, period. She would have been thrown out too, but she didn't care. She chose you over him. I said, you could be doing stuff like that. And so when I got him on and she found he was working with me, then she said, oh man, she figured I'd be talking to him, right? Schooling him, because I mean, she my sister, but what you doing is wrong here. I said, man, you better stick with John. He taking care of the babies for you. He's sticking with you. He's working hard his ass off. You ain't on welfare or nothing. So she got mad and turned him in. Got him kicked out. Threw her out. And when it happened a month before, I think about February or March of 1975, right after Elijah passed. After Elijah Muhammad left, and Wallace took over. And the first thing Wallace did was say, everybody's exiled, you come back in. So I said, I told you. See, now he's back in the nation, you out, but that's you holding over him. So you can't do shit like that to people. And she never had a day of good luck after that. Not one day of good luck. She's in nursing home right now. And I tried to get out of nursing home, she won't get out. Because she says, I ain't coming to stay with you. Because she's scared of me. Because I'm not going to listen to that bullshit, man. You need to get up and start working. Not working, right? But you need to get up and start walking around. Because they told the controller she had no control of over there. They bathed her and everything else. I said, you don't do shit like that. And so now, that she lost all her children. They took all her children away from her. And the ones that was old enough, they hate her. I said, see, you don't do stuff like that. Not that my children feel any better about me, right? I don't know if they hate me, but they don't bother with me. See? So, those are the type of things happen, brothers and sisters. And so she got mad and so forth. And I don't know if I'm getting to that, but the point is, I was, he was taking care of business. And it wasn't even his kids. Then she had to go back on welfare and all that stuff. And it turned out to be a total disaster. See? So, that grip has to be broken, and Master Prophet is going to break it. And if you say, oh, I'm going to do, once he break, I'm going to get myself together, then no, it don't work. Like the Quran says, when Allah comes with angels, decision's already been made, that's your ass. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So, but anyway, he said to go be angry. You see, China's get very angry at America. All this stuff, once that dam breaks, all stuff comes together like that, so fast. You ever see things in place? Everything I've been telling you is in place, everything. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Oops. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. I'm gonna let this play. So hold on here. I gotta keep quiet. Let me be quiet here. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm just gonna let it play. Okay. But again, that's not our women. But that's what got women doing, because they listen, following these devils, whispering, hey man, be like us. And then, I tell you, I wouldn't be with a devil, and I've never had a devil girlfriend in America anytime, ever. Right? I wouldn't anywhere I'll sleep with any of them. I knew better than that even before I do anything else. Them filthiest, they got these goddamn damn dogs they carrying on. The filthiest, they tell, oh, well, y'all was over there naked, running around. We saved you from the jungle. We didn't ask you to save us from anything. You want something filthy, get one of them. And you find out. Right? And then they tell our sisters, we should be like that. Our sisters not like that. That's vector force. So I'm not condemning our sisters, but that's what they see. Then they get them on TV, like Beyonce and all them, walk around their ass all hanging out and everything else. And they say, hey, yeah, it's demons. But our sisters, they're good. They're the best thing ever happened on this planet. And so you ain't gonna get me going to smash smack on these sisters. I know what's going on. And once you step up and take control of your reality, instead of get your head out of the devil's ass, they'll step up and be right with you. They want to be with you. They love black men. They love you. They don't waste save us. They put their lives on the line doing Holocaust to keep our seed alive. They ain't know you. They hide when masks wasn't looking. Hey, bro, they ain't know you was Levi. Just put your seed in me. Because that was their hope. Their hope that one day that great grandson or whatever would take revenge for what they spewed to them, because our sister was totally humiliated. And if you sit around here, you fist bumping one of these devils, when you know they humiliate our women like that, you must end up with a nub. You might end up with a nub. You better wake up. I ain't cute, I'm just telling you. Because what you're going to see, you're going to see some angry black folks in a minute when they wake up. And they're going to look around and say, you know about this? You know about that? We got this Negro at the gym. He used to be a security guard or something, right? He loved devils. He looked at me like all funny, you know. I said, okay, I got you. Love, he's up in devil's ass. Maybe he's a demon, right? See, but that's one thing that bothers me about this whole thing. If you know what they did to our women, I mean, you know what devils, they laugh at you. You think they're your friend, your buddy. They don't care about it. Because they know when you put fish bump, I got that nigga. That's why we saying good morning and everything else. I don't greet them back. I just ignore them. My wife be walking. They say, hey, good morning. That was last week, right? He got his dog. Hey, good morning. I ain't say nothing. I said, good morning. I still ain't say nothing. You see, so why would he come back like that? I said good morning. Why would he come back like that? Because that's how they check you, see if you're waking up or not. That's where it is. They say, I got you, I got that. He's fist bumping. Because remember, I just told you, they're in fear of you waking up. All of them. So when you fist bump, they know that gives them confidence that he still got you. But they fear me. Because I told that brother I was talking about, he came and said, man, they asked me, what's wrong with him? Why you so mean? Why I gotta be mean? Because I don't want to talk to you. Let me say this one last thing. This dude, I was doing, bench press, right? Oh, it's about a year or so ago, right? So they come over there, and I don't like this from anybody, because I say, man, find something else to do. How many more sets you got? None of your goddamn how many sets I got. Find something else to do. I never do that. I go find, if somebody's doing some machine I want to use, find a machine. So I ain't say nothing. I ain't say anything. Say nothing. Me says. So he go, hey man, how many sets you got? Like I didn't hear him. So I still ain't say nothing. So then he gets over in front of my face, like waving hand. Hey man, I said, I mean, see now he's about to get his ass kicked. Devil. I still don't say nothing. But then he gets mad. He walks over to the side. I said, man, you sure are rude. I said, hey. Then I got him. I said, you better get the F out of my face right now. Because I ain't said a goddamn thing to you, right? So you get the, you don't talk to me like that. What you mean I don't talk to you like that? You better get the, I told him, you better get the F out of my face. I'm going to tell you one time, get the F out of my face. See? So, he's still coming, he stay away from me though. And I know he spread the word around. See? Because now I'm rude. I ain't going to ask you a damn question. I had this from a Negro too. He got two braids, long braids, like the Americans used to wear. He comes, he's stupid. He runs around, he walk around fast. I guess about his early 30s. He's stupid. And so I ignore him, right? So I was in the gym, I came out the sauna, and I was sitting cooling out, right? So he walks in there. Good morning. I don't ever use a good morning because that's where that comes from. I ain't say anything. Good morning. I said, wait, man, you don't speak to nobody? I said, hey. Well, man, I just spoke. I said, man, just shut the F up, man. I ain't asked you. I don't care what you say. I didn't say nothing, so don't say nothing to me. He got all upset about it. I mean, I told him, I said, cool it. I said, right now. Got about his ass. I said, right now. Right? Because, I don't want to deal with him because I don't even want to open the conversation with him. Because I see what he do. He loves devils, fish bump, all kind of stuff. He walk around with long braids, two long ones on the side. And and so he going, I said, man, So, you know, then see, you understand this is all devil crap. Excuse me. That means if you ask somebody, excuse me, that means if they don't answer you, that means they don't excuse you, don't it? That means they're asking your permission to ask you something. Ask your permission to interrupt you. But if you don't say nothing, that means you, why you got, I said, excuse me, I don't give a damn what you said. Get the hell away from me. I told you I'm a confrontational person. I'm a hermit, but I don't, and especially I just don't, you know, especially, I don't want to be bothered. You know, so I mean, I have this stuff every day. I run him every day, right? You wouldn't believe it. You know, I mean, I go for an hour telling you like I was in the sauna. And the sauna's supposed to be cool and mellow. Everybody was quiet, right? So this dude, they just talking. I'm getting pissed off, right? Why don't you shut the F up? He ran his mouth. So eventually everybody leave out the sauna. He's nearby himself. It's the devil. So I talked to him. I said, hey, hold it. I said, Sal, I don't hear a goddamn thing you got to say, right? Just take it someplace else. He was like, I guess he was about in his 60s. He was kind of gray hair, but you know, they look older. He didn't say nothing. So finally he left out the car and says, thank you, sir, for your honesty. I want to hear what you got. I want to hear your bullshit. I mean, it's all bullshit. That's why we got to get away from these people. You know? I had one guy come in, you know, and sign up, I was supposed to put water on the coals, right? And so I'm in the sauna by myself. He comes there. So he said, hey, man, you mind if I pour some of this stuff on the coals? I said, yeah, I do mind. And then he poured it anyway. Well, I said, what the hell you asked me for? Well, man, I don't, well, let's see, I was biting his ass because the thing is, most Negroes play along with that bullshit. And I don't. And so they get surprised. See? And on that note, I'm going to close out with this last one thing. When I go back to New Jersey, when I met my wife, right, I was working at Persephone. I was working on this project for AT&T, right? And I saved him a lot of money, right? But anyway, they had this dude called Eric. He said he was a Marine. And so they had, they started bringing, you couldn't find the Indian in this country, but they had one Indian girl, she came in, right? She had one person I seen, she wore an Indian dress, they don't do it anymore, right? Anyway, he used to go, and they had a couple other black folks. I was a contractor, right? I was a contractor at that time. I stopped being an employee, right? So I was a contractor at Mississippi on the AT&T project before they broke up to all of my bills. And so I was, you know, I had my own little cubic space or whatever. And so this guy used to walk around. There was a few other black folks there. And he put his hand in their hair, and he used to say like stuff like Joan Bunny and stuff like that. And they just be giggling. I said, what the fuck's wrong with these people? So one day he come over towards me. And he got close to my car. I said, hold it. I said, if you put your hand anywhere near me, you're going to lose your hand. Oh, man. I said, ain't no old man, nothing. I said, you better not touch me. And in fact, get the hell away from me. So he didn't know what to make of that. So about 2 days later, they had a meeting. So we had all meeting in a cubicle, right? And give a demonstration or something. He in there, and he started telling one of his off-color black jokes. You know, black folks, it was other white folks too, everybody giggling. He was the one giving a demonstration. He said, I grabbed him and put him up and threw him against the wall. Everybody, hey man, stop, man, you want to get some trouble? Raheem, stop, man, Raheem, stop. You want to get fired. You just lose a contract here. I said, I told you, man, don't be messing around with me with that bullshit. So everybody pulled me off of me, right? See? So then the next day he came close by. He stood off at, hey man, can I take you out to lunch? He was my buddy then. Yeah, whatever. You see, you have no idea what I deal with. I said, most people don't know me. I don't take no shit from nobody at all. Zero tolerance. Assalamu alaikum. hold on, bro. This is not working right. Hold on for a minute. I missed something here, I think. We have here. I had a video there I was going to play. Where is it? Oh, that's why. Okay, put it this way. Okay.